Hello, my name is Isaiah Harrison. This is my first People Socials 12 class inquiry project, and I've chosen to create a video talking to an elder that potentially has lived in the residential schools a generation after the residential schools, and with my last interviewee 2 generations after. The people I've chosen to interview are Elder Victor Underwood, Brian Williams, and Edgar Lynch as my 3 interviewees. And I hope you enjoy. It's finna be cringe.
Is that
Okay, cool. And we're good.
Good. So are you going to be able to sit there and you'll be in there too?
Yeah.
You can sit down too. You good?
I'll sit over
So,
here.
That's recording.
Perfect.
Isaiah?
Isaiah Victor.
Victor? So, tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you come from, where are your origins, type of thing.
I'm right from here, from south. Actually, when I was born, we had an old house right here,
Oh, really?
and I moved to that one with the green roof. And when I got married, we moved in that little shack right there. And we got a house, and I've been in this house 50 years.
50 years? That's a
So
long time.
in theory, I didn't go very far in 72 years.
Definitely.
But I was on the way to residential school. Our whole family was.
Your whole entire family, wow. That's some sense. So, what was the biggest struggle of living in the residential school for you?
First of all, when the Indian agent did come down, talk to my mom, like maybe it might be Sunday night or whatever. Monday morning, my mom said, "They can send you to the school. I don't want you to run away, quit, or get kicked out. If you do that, then they'll put me and your dad in jail."
Oh, wow.
So we remembered that. And so I was went to Mission City. When I was on the ferry going, I didn't know where I was going.
Yeah.
And I asked, "How come I'm the only one going to these schools?" And he said, "No, you're not the only one. Your 2 sisters are going to Cupar Island, which is 75 miles from here."
Really?
I was sent to Mission City, which is about 150 miles away.
Goodness.
My older brother was sent to Kamloops Residential School, which is 300 miles away.
Yeah.
So my mom lost 4 kids in one day.
Yeah. That would
Nothing she could do. So from September 2nd until June 21st, we never really seen our parents, grandparents, brothers or sisters,
Yeah.
because we're all spread out.
Yeah, that's very emotionally.
Pretty hard, and because we had no say, we had no,
Your mom just couldn't do anything.
no, because she knew about it, because she went to residential school herself.
Yeah.
So she understood what the government is doing.
Wow. So 2 generations of your family. 3 generations of
My
your family.
grandfather went too.
Wow.
I didn't know about him going, but never heard a word of it.
Wow. 3 generations of your family going there. That must have been a lot of knowledge lost.
Yeah, because when my mom went, she didn't learn the word English until she was 13.
Yeah.
Because every time she spoke her language, she got punished. And one time, you know how you wash your mouth out with soap? That's what they done with her, except the soap had a type of lye in it. So when she ended up with blisters inside her mouth.
Wow.
And that's when she swore that she would never teach us the language. That's why me and my brothers never learned it, because she didn't want us to get punished the way she did.
Yeah, that's like, she's very strong.
Yep.
So, to have gone punished like that, that's
Yeah, when I went to residential school, first you had to go to the office. So what they done, they took my name away and gave me a new one.
What was your name before?
My name is Vic Underwood Jr. now, but when I went there, my name was 121.
121.
Yeah, that is the name I had to live by.
So you weren't even a person, you were a number.
There is number. 121, you go to report to the office. 121, you go do this. 121, you go do that.
Wow.
We never learned, never once used our names.
I wonder why they did that. That's very cruel, almost. Like,
That's just the way the government works with our people.
it almost makes you not human anymore. They don't treat you.
Mhm.
So, what's like one thing that you could take away that's positive? Is
Nothing.
there nothing? They didn't teach you anything that you could take and
No.
absolutely nothing. Wow.
So when I went there, actually, first residential school I went to, I got very sick. I ended up with Guillain-Barré syndrome. I didn't know what it was then. All I done is I collapsed. I couldn't walk anymore.
Yeah.
So all they done is pick me up, put me in my bed in my dormitory, and they just left me there until I got better.
Wow.
Doctors and nurses weren't allowed into the school. So at that time I didn't know what was wrong.
That's
Because I was so grown yet I outgrew that and I was able to walk.
so cruel.
And that's when all the abuses started then. Second year I sent to a different residential school. But I ended up with the same name there. I was 121 there.
Wow.
One day they said, 121, report to the gym. I looked at the other boys and nobody knew what was going on, because we always let each other know what's happening. I got to the gym and say it's a Monday. There's a guy there, he's fresh out of dentist school, and we're figuring he's there to practice.
Yeah.
On Monday he pulled half of my teeth out. And Tuesday I had to go back and pull the other half out
For
for no reason.
for
Really.
no reason. Just to punish you.
And my mom was super mad when she didn't find out till 6 months later because I wasn't allowed to come home. When I got home, she took me. We had a regular dentist in Sydney. Took me down there. She was so mad. The dentist turned around. He said, "You can sue these guys if you want. I got your son's dental records here." Of course, my mom didn't know what the word sued means, so we know nothing.
Yeah.
So that is one thing we went through. And the third residential school I went to, this is where we learned about the segregation laws, or they call it integration laws. This is where we went to school downtown with the white kids.
Yeah.
They told us before we went down, the same rules apply down there as they do here. So there, the white kids really could say and do anything they wanted to us, and we couldn't react.
Yeah.
We had to accept what they done. So we were used as punching bags many times.
Because of rules, you would get in a lot of trouble. You
If
can
I got in
defend
trouble,
yourself.
that meant my mom and dad were going to go to jail, and we didn't want that. That's why most of us never did. One day, I had to read a paragraph in science class. I come across a word I couldn't pronounce. The white kids laughed at me. Indians never laughed at each other. They supported each other. Lunchtime, 3 guys followed me into the washroom and laughed, pushed me. I knew he wanted to fight.
Yeah.
And I took the punches. The second one hurt. And the third one I just stopped and I punched him out in 4 punches. His partner jumped in and they done the same thing. the third guy, he says, he's a boxer, he's a boxer. Of course, I was a boxer.
Yeah.
By night, so the third guy ran to the office, got the principal, come back, told the three white boys they can go. He told me, you're living in civilization now. You gotta quit acting like a savage. You can't do what you're doing. He wouldn't let me explain what happened. So I got punished. Getting punished there, that meant I got a detention. And when I got out, I had to run back to the residential school, which is 5 miles away. I had to be back there in time for roll call.
Yeah.
So actually, they were helping me because I was training for basketball and soccer anyhow. So it worked for me that way.
Sure.
But the principal brought me in front of the whole class. He says, next time this boy fights, he's getting expelled. So
You're a target.
that is a warning. So next time they followed me in the washroom again, this time I had to let him punch me out. My friend, he says, I'm not getting expelled, so he punched those boys out for me. And of course, they got punched out again. He got in trouble. He got sent home.
Yeah.
He was expelled. When he got home, he committed suicide that night. But I think we were thinking he didn't want to see his mom and dad go to jail.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the things we learned that we found out later. There were 3 boys were the rich kids. Rich kids were exempt from punishment or anything because they always got away with it. You know, that's why we learned about the bullying. Bullying stems from the rich kids, but they know they can't be punished. So they can do anything you want, and they'll always win.
Yeah. Very terrible.
So when he committed suicide, I asked, can I go to his funeral? He said, no, he deserved what he got. You know? No,
Absolutely no care
no,
for anyone.
no. And these are church people.
Yeah.
And, you know, everybody says church people don't do things like that, but these guys, they didn't believe sexual abuse people and physically abused them. The second school I went to, after in 1996, where they're allowed to sue people, they sued one guy. He sexually abused 25 boys. He's found guilty in every account. When he got sentenced, he got 3 years.
Only 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
The boys got up there. He only got 3 years. We got life, that's what the boy says. 'Cause you don't forget, you don't let things go getting hard as a kid.
Yeah.
When we forget our abuses, I left residential school 54 years ago in grade 11. I still keep those memories. I can't let them go. No matter how much you do, the healing.
Yeah.
We all became alcoholics when we came out of there. Because that's the only way we can numb the pain.
You're gonna deal with your problems.
And that's why we all became alcoholics at the time. You know, those things that happened are very true. Every school we talked to, the same thing happened to others here, Winnipeg or further back east. I went to Truth and Reconciliation in Winnipeg and I heard the same story. And one guy said, you know, I never understood why my punishment was more severe than the other boys. Because I can tell you, you had leadership qualities, so they had to break you. That's why yours was more severe, because that's what I went through.
Yeah.
You have leadership qualities. Like some of the guys that looked after us, one guy, you know, when he's going to school or whatever, he's drafted by the New York Giants of the National Football League.
Wow.
He turned that down. Next guy, he played for football for Syracuse University. The small guy, the smallest of the three. He's drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs in the National Hockey League, but he turned that down.
Is there any reason?
He's just run into the religious order because we're thinking because it's a safe haven for child molesters. That's probably the only reason.
Yeah.
You know. But those guys, like we're only 130, 40 pounds in. So when they hit us, we always end up on the floor every time because there's no way we can get around it. They used to get hit and get down. The older boys said, next time you get hit, stay down there for a while, pretend to get hurt, and they'll leave you alone. You know, that's the only way some of us got out of it.
Yeah.
Some of the things we experimented with, we didn't know at the time. 3:30 when we got out of class. There's 54 of us boys in this rec hall. So they brought 54 sandwiches in. They just threw it on the floor, and we were all scrambled just like seagulls because we were always hungry.
Yeah.
Then we started working out, hey, there's only one sandwich for every boy, so we just take one and so everybody can get one. We showed respect for each other, but they didn't.
Most definitely not.
No.
They have no respect for anyone.
No, and in doing that in sports, in grade 10, we had the best high school soccer team in BC, because we knew, because the school had won our zones, asked us for an exhibition game. We played them. We beat them 7-0 and we're pounding around with them. A week later, they won the BCs.
Really?
And our coach, the one time I see him cry, he'd come through the paper down. This should have been you boys.
Why didn't you guys get an opportunity?
Indian schools weren't allowed to play in high school league.
Wow.
That's how bad the educational system was, and we weren't allowed to play in high school league.
You guys were ripped of an opportunity to
Yeah.
potentially go higher.
We could have, and actually a couple of our boys could have went to England. They were asked what they, because the way we've been treated, they said no, because they were scared of the outside world. So they said no, they didn't go. They could have played in England. Grade 11, our boys tried out for the school basketball team. Not one of them made it. But the school knew we had a team at the residential school, so they asked us for an exhibition game. We played them. We walked all over them. The school coach coming to our coach, he said, you know, you might have 3 boys that can make a school team. Our coach says, no. You might have 3 boys that can make our team. He says, you know, made us feel that, you know, we could never had the chance again, and never got a chance to play.
Yeah.
It's everything we've done is always against us. It is against the law to practice our culture.
Yes.
Our culture is based on love, respect, honor, trust, and honesty.
Yes.
So we got punished. We practiced that. So we learned their system, and if we practiced their system, we got punished too. So no matter what we done, we got punished either way.
Why would you get punished to practice their system?
Because of hate, discrimination, violence that they taught us. That's what we learned, and that's what we learned from these guys.
Yeah.
And when we done this, we got in trouble.
That's ridiculous almost. That's like the low of the low.
Mm-hmm. Even when residential schools came up again, they told us they give us $10,000 for the first year and $3,000 for each year after. That's if you didn't sue the government. Most of us didn't want to go to court because we wanted to let that pain go, so we signed. Most of us signed. So once they got our signature, The government says, nope, you did not go to school this year. There's no records. I said, I went to the same school for grade 9 and 10. So how did I get into grade 10 without grade 9 records?
Yeah.
But they still say I didn't go to school.
Wow.
And that's how the government works. That is only last year. Or a year before, when we tried to put closure to our past.
Yeah. It's terrible. It's like,
See, the second residential school I went to, the boys that stayed in my dormitory said after 30 years we're going to have a reunion. So I said, we'll have a reunion. So I called every one of them that is in my dormitory. It turned out I was the only one that made it past 50.
wow.
After I left that school, 3 of them committed suicide right in the school. After that, most of them got home, become alcoholics. They had violent deaths one way or another. Because we just couldn't cope with
Yeah.
what was happening. And so,
Eventually everyone got broken.
yep.
Well, it shows how strong of a person you are.
All the ones that made it, they're the ones that practice culture. See, like for us, our family, June 21st, we got out of school. June 22nd, we're across the states picking berries. But at the same time, I didn't know that my dad and mom were teaching me the culture. And that's why we would do cultural stuff. All the ones I talked to, they all practice culture. That's where we get our courage and strength. That's where we need to.
Yeah, because everyone builds each other up.
Yep. Now we're trying to teach our kids. What we taught our kids, we learned it our what we taught them. When the late daughter, when she was 13, she swam in the school swim meet here in Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
She had 2 seconds and the rest were all first in whatever she done.
Wow.
And it so happened the Canadian Olympic coach was there. And coach come up to us. We want to talk to her coach, and I said she doesn't have one. She just swims. He said, what? She just swims. No coaching, no. We wanted to try out for the Canadian Olympic team. So we said that. He says, no, I'm not going. Why? There's no Indians here. That's something we taught her not to trust.
Yeah.
We try to convince her. They want you to go to Ontario.
You're by yourself.
You go over there. Mom and Dad will move over with you. No, she didn't. Now we done our healing. After we doing our healing, her son, after she passed, her son went to the shell. Then he picked up a lacrosse stick. He didn't know the rules, regulations. By the end of the year, he made the All-Stars. Second year, he played for Team BC. Last year, he played for Team Canada.
Wow.
They made it to the finals. Team Germany beat them. But he was happy about that because majority of Team Germany were his teammates from the Victoria Shamrocks. So he's playing against his own team.
And against his buddies.
Yeah, you know, because we broke the things that happened. So doing our healing in June or July, whenever they go to the NAG tournament in Toronto, we got 6 family members that made the BC team.
Wow.
Because we all done our healing, we're proud of our kids. And I think we got 8 from this village that are representing part of BC. So we're changing, and we're hoping to get everybody to do the same. Because all we wanted to do is be treated fairly, and it's starting to happen. But we share our stories rather than having an understanding why our people are the way they are.
Yeah.
we don't trust anybody, but we're starting to change that now because we know not all
Yeah.
non-First Nations are bad. We just got the bad ones. Now we're learning that we can communicate, share, be all part of the system. We'll all all we want is to be treated fairly, and I think we're getting there.
Yeah. Everyone's you were turning back to what you guys were before. You were
Before,
open and loving and caring. So
I'm doing a paper putting together what we done before the Europeans came, and how now we're trying to restore those teachings. We call it teachings. We don't call them family law, community law. You call it law, then the interpretation changes.
yeah.
You use the word teachings, that means nobody can change what our grandparents hand down to us.
Yeah.
That's why our ways are all oral, none of it's written, because nobody can interpret it any other way.
Yeah.
So we're trying to restore the old teachings.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on like the new rules of the Indian Act, or are you caught up with that?
I didn't even know there's new rules because
Oh.
we're still treated the same. We're still not classified as Canadians.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Because in the new law of the Indian Act, the Métis people, which I follow under, we are now brought in as a peoples as well. So it's the First Nations peoples, the Inuit peoples, and the Métis peoples now. So it's become there's three first peoples of Canada, and it's allowing the Métis peoples to have rights to land as well. I was just wondering how you felt about that.
That doesn't bother me at all because we're getting back to where we're supposed to be.
Yeah, it's just a bigger family.
How we ruled before the Europeans came, that's what we're asking for. Just go back to the old ways.
Yeah,
See, the new rules today, all it does is protect the politicians, the rich and people in authority.
yeah,
That's why all the laws are drawn the way they are now. Politicians, they're all exempt from everything. There's no punishment. But we do all the, we get the worst end of it. They don't think about the lower class people.
yeah. I was wondering how like the transition from residential school back home, like what was the hardest part of it?
Let them go with their hurts and pains that they cause. And because we carried that hurt and pain for 40 years.
Yeah,
Because it is against the law for us to speak the truth of authority. Or we could be. It was only 1996 that we were allowed to say and do things.
wow,
So even then, started to change. We're trying to get all the Alzheimer's let go.
yeah,
The old timer that worked with me, his grandson, remember one thing, you done nothing wrong, they did. Send those hurts and pains back to them. So I had to go there many, many times before I was able to forgive that guy that hurt me. And it was 54 years ago,
54 years ago.
or more.
Wow,
That's how long we're able to hang on to it because we couldn't do anything with it. Now we're doing healing, let go. That's why I'm able to share my story with the outside world because they need to know what happened to us, why we are the way we are.
yeah,
In the peninsula in 59, 60, I was the only one that graduated in this area.
really,
Last year we had 54 grade 12 graduates. At U of Vic we got 950 First Nations students there, 1,300 at Camosun, First Nation students there. That's only 2 institutions. Think about the NIAM, all the other ones right across Canada. Our kids are changing. Because they're allowed to do this and allowed to do that now.
They're allowed to learn. They're allowed to expand.
And we all share them. We're not asking for special privileges. We're asking, just asking to be treated fairly.
Yeah.
And we're getting there.
You're getting to be yourself almost.
Way my grandparents, the courage and strength they had, I wish I had what they had, or the ones before them too.
Sounds like a very strong, talented family. You guys are all good at everything. What do you? Because your parents were also in residential schools and your parents' parents. What would you have rather stayed and had them teach you your teachings, or would you still rather, or how do I put this into better words?
I guess what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
What we do now, when I talk to my kids or grandkids, I get my brothers and sisters to talk, or get the old people to talk to them about the teachings.
Yeah.
And it works. So I asked my dad one day, I said, Dad, how come it's always aunts and uncles saying things to us, talking to us about our teachings? All he said to me, you're my son. It'll go in one ear and out the other. He said, and it makes sense, eh?
Yeah.
Because we listen to other people, but sometimes we don't listen to mom and dad.
Yeah. Sometimes it's harder if you don't.
So that's our teachings. We listen. Any of the older people that speak to us, we listen because they lived it, gone through it, and they know.
Yeah.
They don't talk to you to be mean. They just talk because they don't want you to go through the same things that they went through.
Yeah.
And yet still be a strong person. That's where our teachings are.
I feel that I myself, because I don't know where my where my ancestries are from, but I feel that I do get a very strong leadership because I know very, very much other people that are like me, that are very strong leaders that are also First Nations. So I feel like it's a very strong culture and it's about love and respect more than anything else.
Yeah, because that's the foundation of who we are. Love, respect, honor, trust, and honesty. And that's why, no matter where you go, that's why you have the same teachings. That's why the old people say there is no wrong way to do things right. It took me a while to understand what the old people were saying. Because my way is right, your way is right, his way is right. We just got to learn how to respect each other's way.
Yeah.
We never say, that's not my way, so I'm not going to get involved.
Yeah.
When you do your work, I would stand beside you and share and honor what you're doing.
Yeah.
And we wonder how you want to be treated. You treat the other person the same way because they want the same thing too.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yes.
All our family teachings are all the same. Use common sense, but we can't use common sense today
Yeah.
with the politicians doing what they're doing.
Yeah. So on a more of a lighter topic, I got a few questions that are kind of just to make you happy, bring up the mood, kind of, because it's not the nicest topic to talk about. So, you're stuck on an island. What are 3 things that you bring with you?
Water.
Water.
3 things.
3 things. Just gotta take 3 things, and you're stuck on an island. Seas all around you. 3 things you bring with you.
Fruit.
Fruit.
That's all I really.
That's all you want.
I'm a diabetic. Sorry. That's what I live on.
So, who's your favorite actor?
I don't watch TV.
You don't watch
I
TV?
watch TV, but I don't got no favorite.
You just don't know? You just...
I'm a sports. I watch all the sports shows.
Who's your favorite player?
I don't really have a favorite player. I always go for the underdog. Like in football, I'm tired of seeing the same teams win every year. Same as hockey.
Patriots.
See, like not watching hockey. I hope Nashville make it because they first year for them.
Yeah.
You know. But in hockey, I've been a Montreal Canadian fan since 1950. So
Wow,
it never
history.
changed.
That's about all I got for questions. Well, thank you for your teachings. Is there anything that you'd like to show me or anything from that you do on a daily basis that kind of like you do kind of like as maybe healing or?
But he,
Hello, Isaiah Harrison. Brian.
Introduce myself? Or?
Yeah. So who are you? Where's your family come from?
My name is Brian Williams. I'm from the Neohana Nation, which is Cree, Plains Cree from Thunder Trail, Saskatchewan. From my mom's side. From my dad's side, I'm Nahiwa and Danish, meaning I'm Métis also, being about 3/4 Nahiwa Cree. And I was born and raised in Edmonton, Alberta, and been a visitor and a guest on Coast Edge Territory since 2001.
How did the residential schools affect you directly?
Affect me directly?
Yeah.
Because of my mom and my kuka, my grandma being in residential schools, I lost a lot of my heritage, my culture, because we were born and raised in the city. So I lost my language. I lost place on the reserve, as in living there and being accepted there also, right?
Yeah.
But myself, it's just language, my heritage, my culture.
That's what you feel was the biggest hit on you?
That's the biggest hit on me is my language for me. I do have a little bit of my culture, and I'm still learning as I go along. Right?
So how many people in your family do you know that were in the residential schools, like affected, like very close?
That were in the residential schools?
Yeah.
Every one of my aunts and uncles was in residential schools.
Approximately how many family members as well?
Well, there was three aunts and three uncles.
Okay.
They were all in residential schools.
Plus your mother
And my mom was one of them.
and your grandma.
And then my grandma, the generation before, was
Okay.
residential schools. And they were all affected the same way. Right? My mom was there but she went into residential school at 7, and she didn't leave there until she was 16.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they really colonized her when she was there.
Yeah.
And same with my uncles. She remembers my uncle, I think it was my Uncle Pete's the youngest of the family of boys. And he was 3 when they took him away and put him in residential schools.
Oh really?
Yeah.
And then do you know what age he was when he left? Was he 16 as well?
He was about the same. He was probably a little bit younger. He was probably about 14, 15 when
Yeah. But
he
still
got out of residential
almost
school.
10 years of his life. gone.
Yeah, and that was just a lot of my family. The aunts and uncles that were in residential schools for a long time. But it's something like a little. I think my mom was one of the first ones to hurt my aunt, ran away, and hightailed it to Edmonton.
So, of those people that were in the residential schools, do you think it affected them in a very negative way, or was it in some situations where people had a positive?
For my family, it was a lot of negative. Because they rebelled against the residential schools, they were, how do you say it, disciplined.
Yeah. Very.
Harshly, like all the time. They didn't want to give up the language, but after the years they had to a point where they pretty much all left
Yeah.
somehow or another. Like some of them waited out that time till they were old enough so they could just leave.
Mhm.
And some of them, like my mom, ran away.
Yeah. So in other situations of people that we know that their parents were in residential schools, they have very much like either the house or the room needs to be extremely clean or it has to be extremely messy? Were any of those type of OCD type things placed in your family because of residential schools?
With my aunts, they had to have everything tidy, clean all the time. They'd go through and like scrub floors, wash the counters, everything had to be perfectly clean. You'd almost have to, like, after they were done, you could walk through with a white glove, you wouldn't find any dust or dirt anywhere. Then on the other side, like, mom and uncles and stuff, didn't bring a lot of that in. They just wanted to just get away. So they lived kind of their life. I can't say normally because it wasn't normal,
Yeah.
but you know, just came out and
Kind
that
of
was
like-
little messy and stuff. The only thing that they really didn't like was the food. It was horrible in residential schools.
Yeah. What is the fondest memory with the people that you know that were directly affected or inside?
The fondest?
Yeah.
Well, when I was growing up, my mom and I didn't really have a relationship. I didn't understand why.
Yeah.
Like why I was never told I loved you. She didn't show any emotions.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of physical at times. I couldn't understand why this was happening. And it wasn't until 2009 when I went back to Camosun to school and started sitting with elders that I started to learn about residential schools and then what were the effects of residential schools, how they affected family members and mothers and fathers and grandparents, where I started to realize, oh, now I understand what residential schools did to our people, like everyone, right? So I phoned my mom after 20 years of not having a relationship and just, you know, told her I loved her and said she didn't have to apologize and everything. I understand. And to this day we have it's not the greatest relationship because residential students.
So yeah, they weren't taught how to love, basically.
No, it's nice because I tell her I love her all the time
Yeah.
whenever I talk to her. Right, she'll say it back. I don't know if it's hollow or not, but it's just nice to hear it.
Yeah.
Right. But I phoned and that was one of the happiest times, just telling her, no, everything I understand.
Yeah.
It's all cool, right? I get it. Right?
Yeah.
So like to this day we have like a little more relationship,
Yeah.
but still that residential thing because they separate all their families, we still don't have the full connect.
Yeah, you guys aren't really meshed very
No.
well.
No, that's with our whole families.
Yeah, but at least you have a talking relationship and you guys can speak about what's
Yes.
happening in your life and stuff.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna ask you like 2 questions, super simple, kind of like
Oh, no.
joking, like just kind of because it's not the best topic. You don't necessarily want to
Okay.
always talk about it and leave and
Yes.
just be, oh, I hate this.
Okay.
So you're stuck on an island. 3 things you gotta have with you.
Let's see, I need a butler, so I'll take you.
Okay. You're gonna take me.
Yeah. Probably fire.
Fire.
And
In what form?
probably a flint.
A flint and steel. Okay.
Yeah, because you can start fire anytime,
Yeah.
right? Let's see, that's a good one. Probably a tarp.
A tarp.
Yeah. Probably a fire tarp, and probably a sleeping bag.
Sleeping bag.
That's it.
One. Okay.
Yeah.
So everyone has their little foodie
Oh,
things
no.
that they go. They go to the gas station. They're driving somewhere and they're like, "Hey, I could go for a snack and a drink. What's your go-to snack and drink?"
Like go-to snack and drink?
Yeah,
It has to be chips.
has to be chips.
It
What
has
type
to
of
be
chips?
Oh, just your normal Lay's plain.
Just
I don't
Lay's
know why.
original.
Yeah, just original. I don't
Is
know
this
why.
good?
Yeah, that's it.
And then what's your drink? Drink of choice.
Drink of choice would probably be A&W root beer.
A&W root beer.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, no doubt, eh?
Hey. Oh,
Sugar-free, just in case my wife's watching.
well, that's all the questions.
I think that's it.
Nice having a chat with you.
Yeah, you too.
Isaiah Harrison.
Ed Carledge.
So where do you come from? Where's your family originate from?
My father is from the Okanagan
Yeah.
region, so Penticton and Kelowna and Peachland.
Yeah.
And my mother comes from the Lillooet-Lytton area. We grew up in the Weems Lake area. that's what I consider my hometown, so the central interior. And my mother's mother and grandmother have connections, and we're part of the Nikomen First Nations Indian Band just north of Lytton.
Yeah. So, how did the schools affect you directly? Like was it a family thing, or was it like you had cousins or far cousins potentially, or like how were you affected directly?
The direct attendance of the residential school was my great-grandmother. She married a white man who came up from the United States, and at the moment that after she left the residential school, she was no longer accepted as part of the First Nations peoples, and so all of her children that she had and the children's children ended up not being accepted by either First Nations, so the local Indian band, and because they looked as though they were Aboriginal, they weren't accepted by the European settlers as well. And I should say, as a community, there was a lot of, in that small community, the Lytton-Lillooet area, there was a lot of support and respect for First People.
Yeah.
There was a lot of respect for their ability to be great hunters and trappers, and their respect for nature, and obviously their abilities to fish and survive were very respected. However, there was also a lot of racism and not treated in the form of equality.
Yeah. So, how many people were in the residential schools from your family?
My great-grandmother and one of her siblings.
So two.
She had 5 brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And there was just her and another sister that ended up going to this one particular school,
Yeah.
All Hallows School in Yale.
Yeah.
And it was promoted, I guess, to the First People, to the Indian band, as an opportunity for them to attend this school where they would learn not only reading, writing, arithmetic, conventional education as what the church thought it was, because it was funded by and the teachers were nuns from the church, but they were also taught sewing and cooking and general skills, I guess, that would be associated with household skills. That said, it was a really unique school because there were also white girls attending this school. And even though it was one school with mixed races in this particular school, the First Nations, my great-grandmother included, and her sister, were almost treated as servants to the European girls.
Yeah.
So the European descendant girls, they were actually the daughters of local dignitarians, politicians.
Yeah. Higher.
Yeah, that's right. The
higher class people.
Higher class, that's right, of the area, and so they were taught these skills of sewing and cooking so that they could mend and cook for the girls that were. Yeah. And they helped in the kitchen, and they had to get up earlier than the other girls and help out in the kitchen. They always cleaned, and so even though it was marketed, I guess, or just they were told that it was an equal opportunity mixed race school, it really wasn't.
It does sound more they were treated more human.
They were
than most schools that I've heard about.
For sure. My grandmother told stories of actually so there were some really positive things that her mother experienced in the school. From what she saw, she didn't see any abuse, any physical or sexual abuse occurring. I'm not saying that did or didn't happen, but the stories that were passed down that I was shared with were generally that there was a lot of positive things that came out of that school. Now, that school was actually only open for a fairly narrow amount of time. I believe it was only about 20 or 25 years.
Really?
And then after that, I'm not sure whether it was funding that closed it down or maybe local community pressure of not
Yeah.
wanting to have a mixed race school. The school was then moved to Lytton, where it became what is now commonly known as a traditional residential school,
Yeah.
where there was all Aboriginal, and kids were taken from their families and placed in
Yeah.
that school. And that would have been after my great grandmother already finished her schooling.
Yeah. Did the because you had it sounds like you had a very close relationship with your great grandmother.
Well, I didn't know her, but
yeah,
my
but
grandmother.
or your grandmother, sorry. Was there anything? Did she act differently? Like, was she more negative during the time, or was she like overly positive? Because like it does mentally affect you
Yeah.
greatly. So like some people just didn't completely get over it. It's rude to say it like that, but like they didn't cope with it and didn't get over the issue. Like,
Yeah. I think my grandmother grew up, because she would have been half First Nations. She grew up with a very negative perception of First Nations people, because as soon as her mother married her father, he was a white man that followed the gold rush up from the United States, as soon as they married, she wasn't accepted as part of the Indian band anymore, and so she had a very negative perception of First Nations people. A lot of the stereotypes that you hear today were, of course, started even further back then. The being lazy and not wanting to work, and not respecting time frames, and not communicating well, and being selfish, and so she sort of embodied that, not embodied, but that was her attitude, for sure. And she did not like to acknowledge that she had a First Nations background, even though she looked Aboriginal. And that's the way she raised her daughters. So my mom and my aunt were raised with a very negative outlook towards Aboriginal people. That said, there was always an underlying there was always respect was always for all people and all animals and and the environment and plants was always a teaching that was maintained, even though it didn't have a direct Aboriginal connection or that awareness.
Yeah. Did the people affected ever have like an OCD? Like some other people that I know, like their parents and grandparents, they were either extremely clean, like extremely tidy, and if you didn't have it clean, they would almost abuse them. Like they would yell at them and stuff. Or like some were like after it because they couldn't cope, they were like slobs and like didn't keep the house clean. Like was there ever like an extremity like that in your family?
Yeah, I think my grandmother definitely OCD, definitely very, like, everything had its place. You didn't touch it. If you did, then you got yelled at for sure. And that was probably a product of her mother's upbringing, because she was taught in a school where how everything had to be proper, and the household the skills in order to be a good housewife. You had to follow this certain protocol and do these certain things, otherwise your value wasn't there. You weren't valued as a person. So I think that was definitely handed on. My grandmother was very, very controlling. Like everything had its place, and she was very big on manners and
we're just going to get into like 3 easier questions, because these are more they aren't the most positive things, and it's not always the best to leave somebody in a negative mindset. What's your fondest memory with your grandmother, or like your because your grandmother was greatest affected out of the last couple generations of your family. What's your fondest memory of her? Because
definitely, and it would be my just really fond memories of spending time with her in nature, because her and her brothers. So my great uncles, we would go fishing or hiking. Sometimes we would go hunting, or we'd go and my family had a trap line, so we'd go and check the trap line. There was always this feeling of calm and peace and like interconnectedness with nature when we were with them, and that's what they embodied, and that's what they taught was this outward respect for nature, for the environment. They always, whenever we went hunting, there was always a mention of like giving thanks to the spirit of the animal for giving their life to provide nourishment for our family because we needed that. Or even if we went fishing, and I feel like there were a lot of Aboriginal teachings that they passed on without making the emphasis that they were Aboriginal teachings. They were so I just grew up thinking that this is just the way to be respectful to your environment, to other people, to nature, and to acknowledge that there is something greater than yourself. Some people call it God, some people call it the Creator.
Just a higher.
So but my most positive, like, fondness memories were spending time in nature with Granny.
With Granny. So these are just kind of just two funny questions. Just to have a good, just put a smile on your face. You're stuck on an island. 3 things you're going to bring with you. Anything, anyone, whatever you want. 3 things. Other than a boat, obviously. You can
3 things. My pocket knife, piece of flint, and a mirror.
And a mirror. What's the mirror for?
Well,
gotta look at yourself. Gotta make sure you look good.
No. A lot of people may not realize this, but the reflection power of a mirror is lighter, is brighter than any other flashlight or signaling device that you could think of, like a flare or anything like that. And so if there were perhaps a plane or some kind of, or even a boat to come near the island, it would be a great, they're excellent signaling devices. Everyone has their little go-to gas station snack. You pull into the gas station, you're going on a road trip somewhere, you're getting gas, you want to drink and a snack. What's your go-to? Pep and Ched.
Pardon?
Pep and Ched. You know, it's that Hostess snack. It's got a pepperoni stick in plastic with a chunk of cheddar right beside it, and also in plastic, and you squeeze it out, and the pepperoni stick comes out, and the cheddar comes out at the same time.
Oh, really?
Pep and Ched.
Really? What's your drink? What's your go-to drink?
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper. That's a good one. Well, that's all my questions. I've got all of them. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah,
thank you for opening yourself up with your family and your experiences. Hopefully it puts itself perfectly into the video. I'm hoping this will be the extra little piece that will make the video perfect. So
great. Well, wish you all the best. Good luck.
Thank you. You like it. Okay, as you hear that the residential schools aren't always the best of experiences to be a part of, but although that the 3 people that were affected by the residential schools now live a very positive and prosperous life, such as Victor Underwood, who holds sweats with Camosun College at his own house every couple of weeks, and Brian, who now has not the best of relationships, but it's a very caring relationship between him and his mother. And Ed Garland, she's also a very knowledgeable person and very connected to the environment and nature. So what to take from this is it wasn't necessarily the best of things to be a part of the residential schools, but if you have a strong heart and a strong mind, that you can definitely get over it and prosper and become a even better person after it. That's the video. Hope you all enjoyed. And here's for the bloopers. Yeah.